guys, it's Paul and welcome back to my channel. We are here with a Crimetober video today. This story is insane. And usually I like to do my stories in timeline format because I think it's really important to watch how things build to the crime that happens. But this one, I'm not going to do that this time. So the case we will be talking about today is Dalia and Michael Dippolito. And we're going to start off with Michael. He goes by Mike. He was just a normal kind of gym rat, pretty much. Tanned often, honestly looked like he should have been on the Jersey Shore, obsessed with reality TV, and he did have a former drug problem in which he got in a little bit of trouble for, and he had a wife named Maria. I really couldn't find anything on his personality or the type of person he was. Honestly, all I saw was pretty much comparing him to Jersey Shore people, so maybe that is saying something about his personality, but we're not here to judge. Now, I did say Mike had a drug problem in which he got in a little bit of trouble for. It involved dealing steroids and a little bit of organized crime. He had been to prison, but at this time he was on probation for stock fraud. And at this point, he really worked on himself to turn his life around. He was doing exceptionally well for where he was in life. So good for you, Mike. Good for you. I hope you kept that up. And Dalia was an Egyptian Peruvian woman. She was born in New York City, but she had moved to Boynton Beach, Florida when she was about 13. She did go to a Catholic school for a while. She did work as a real estate agent during the day, but at night she did escort. Michael ended up hiring Dalia one night and they pretty much just hit it off. They instantly fell for each other. Their relationship was very sexual. They partied all the time, and it didn't take long for Mike to divorce his wife Maria, and 5 days after the divorce was final, he married Dalia. They were together less than a year before they got married. Dalia did say she had no idea he was a convicted felon or that he was still married. She was told that he was in the middle of the divorce, and she found out he was a convicted felon because his parole officer showed up to visit him. She had said that if she knew this about him, she would not have ever gotten with him. And at this point, weird things just started happening all the time around him. It was about a month into the marriage, a probation officer knocked at his door and they just demanded to search the house. Said there was an anonymous tip that he was still dealing drugs, but when they searched, they didn't find anything. Mike had turned his life around by this point. Around that same time, the police stopped him while he was out driving. And again, they demanded to search his car because there was an anonymous tip about him dealing drugs. And once again, they found nothing. Things calmed down for a little bit, but then a few months later, there was another tip that he was dealing drugs. They searched his car again, and they did actually end up finding something. They found a tiny little bag of cocaine in his spare tire in his trunk. Somehow, by the grace of God, Mike talked them into believing that it wasn't his, and he actually didn't get arrested for this. But at this point, he knew someone was out to get him. He wasn't stupid. So he started kind of going through his brain on who this could be. Could it be like an old person he dealt drugs with that's mad he wasn't dealing anymore? Did somehow him getting arrested for dealing affect someone else, maybe his plug, and he was in organized crime with stock fraud. So he made a lot of enemies that way too. And after talking to Dalia, he decided that the smartest thing for their marriage was for him to start switching his assets into Dalia's name. That way, if he was arrested, she didn't lose everything and he didn't lose everything. But on August 5th, 2009, Dalia went to the gym around 6 a.m. Around 6:40 a.m., she got a call from a police officer that was telling her to come home like right away. It seemed like really urgent, so she rushed right there. And when she got home, all she saw was that there was a crime scene there, and the police officer came up to her and told her that Mike had been shot and killed inside. Now, an interesting part of this story story is that cops was filming in the area. So we have video footage of her being told this news. And honestly, the first time I saw it, it broke my heart. I couldn't even imagine being told that. And she just seemed so devastated.
I'm Sergeant Ramsey. I'm the one that called you. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry to call you. Listen, we had a report of a disturbance at your house, and there were shots fired. Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, man. He's been killed. He's been killed, man. I'm sorry.
No, he's not.
Listen.
No.
Try to calm down.
No.
Listen, right now what we need to get you to the station.
No.
We need to get you to our police station. I can't let you see him, man. We have to do our job. If you want us to find his killer, okay, we need you to calm down. I'm going to need you to go with these detectives, okay? Does he have enemies? Is there anyone that would want to hurt him? Okay, who would want to hurt him? Witnesses said they saw a black male running from me. I can't let you see him, ma'am. Ma'am, I cannot do this right now. Ma'am, I can't do it. Detective Yopi, I need you to take her to the station. I can't. Ma'am, go with these detectives. If you want to help your husband, okay? If you want to help your husband, you need to go to the station with these gentlemen and tell us everything you know about who he knows, who he's connected to. Don't worry, we've already taken care of your dogs with animal control for right now. Everything's under control. And we'll take care of everything else, okay? Thank you, guys.
Pause this video and in the comments, type what your reaction is of watching this for the first time. So the police tell Dalia they are going to take her to the police station because they did in fact find the person who shot him and they wanted to see if she could identify him. They brought in the man that supposedly shot Mike and she just claims she did not know who this was. She had never seen him before. And then things got really weird in the interrogation room. And this again was completely filmed. So we get to see all of this. The police end up dropping a bombshell that actually Mike is still alive and perfectly fine.
Oh my God.
He's alive.
Come here, please. Come here. Mike, come here. Come here, please. Come here.
Can't fix it.
Why not? I didn't do anything
I
to
heard
you.
you.
Mike, come here, please.
And they end up telling Dalia they have proof that she had hired a hitman to kill Mike. So they immediately arrested her for solicitation of first-degree murder, even though she swore she never did anything. She never planned this, and it just wasn't her. She used her one call in jail to call Mike and just tried to beg him to believe that she did not plan to kill him. This was a huge misunderstanding, and then got really mad because he refused to hire a lawyer for her. So what happened? It turned out that Dalia had been talking to her ex. She had told him that Mike was getting really abusive and she just didn't know how to get out. She said that she was really concerned for her safety. And at this point, she had asked her ex to kill Mike for her, saying that if he didn't do it, she was going to have to. So that scared the out of the ex, and he immediately called police and let them know about their conversation. When he reached out to police though, he ended up cooperating in a sting operation to prove that Dalia was wanting to do this. So like I said, cops had been filming this week in this town. So they offered their abilities to the police, saying they would help film anything that they needed. So they had set up a camera in this person's car who was going to be the supposed hitman and told the ex to schedule a meeting with Dalia. And like I said earlier, they filmed Dalia being told that Michael was dead, and for some reason the police let cops release this episode with all of this on it. So to get to the sting operation, Dalia had been trying to plan this hitman to kill Mike for 2 weeks. On July 30th, 2009, her ex had her meet him at a gas station parking lot. He said that he found a connection for her and that they could meet in 2 days with him. He ended up bringing her to meet an undercover narcotics officer, and they filmed all this to help prove intent. That way, there was no way you could argue she wanted this to happen. The plan ended up that Dalia was going to pay this hitman $7,000 up front, and that she was going to go to the gym early in the morning on August 5th.
in now, and when it's done, you know, you're not going to have an option to change your mind, even if you change your mind.
No, there's no, like, I'm determined
Definitely
already.
sure you wanna
I'm
do this.
positive, like,
Okay.
5,000% sure.
Police, for some reason, ended up just staging the whole thing. Maybe that was the agreement and cops helping them film everything. I'm not really sure. I think this part's a little weird because Michael had no idea. None. Nobody had told him anything during this sting operation. So Dalia had left the door unlocked. That way the hitman could get right in. And the police got there after she left and told Mike everything. Told him he had to leave immediately with them. And while he was at the police station, they let him watch the footage of her planning his death. It's really sad. And then once she was in the interrogation room, they brought him in to see her. And could you imagine? The last thing I would want to do is see the person face to face that tried to plan my murder. This poor guy. So then Mike started connecting the dots on everything because all this weird stuff was happening right before. So was that all Dalia? And actually it was. She had told Mike she was pregnant just a few months before this when she was not pregnant. It turned out she had stolen $100,000 from Mike, and during the sting operation was when she was convincing Mike to switch all his assets to her name. And it was also recorded that that was when she got a hold of her ex again. And it wasn't just to tell him Mike was abusing her and please kill him. They had been sexting and trying to plan this future together, and had also tried to convince him to help freeze Mike's bank accounts and steal all the money out of him. She was also the one that planted drugs in his spare tire and had called all the anonymous tips in. And the scariest one of all is that she had actually tried to lace his Starbucks drink with antifreeze, but thankfully he thought it tasted disgusting and spit it out with the first drink. So let's rewatch that footage of her being told that Mike was gone, because now it does seem really staged.
Listen, we had a report of a disturbance at your house, and there were shots fired. Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, ma'am, he's been killed. He's been killed, ma'am. I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
Listen.
No.
Try to calm down. Listen, right now what we need to get you to the station. We need to get you to our police station. I can't let you see him, man. We have to do our job. If you want us to find his killer, okay, we need you to calm down. I'm going to need you to go with these detectives, okay? Does he have enemies? Is there anyone that would want to hurt him? Okay, who would want to hurt him? Witnesses said they saw a black male running from me. I can't let you see him, ma'am. Ma'am, I cannot do this right now. Ma'am, I can't do it. Detective Yopi, I need you to take her to the station. I can't. Ma'am, go with these detectives. If you want to help your husband, okay? If you want to help your husband, you need to go to the station with these gentlemen and tell us everything you know about who he knows, who he's connected to. Don't worry, we've already taken care of dogs with animal control for right now. Everything's under control. And we'll take care of everything else, okay?
So with all of this, obviously Dalia was not getting out of jail. She was called a monster, evil, and Black Widow, but her defense attorney claimed that she was the most misunderstood woman in America, but she was also known as one of Florida's most notorious courthouse celebrities. So I guess she finally got the fame she's always wanted. She ended up having 3 separate trials. The first trial, the prosecutor's side claimed that Dalia wanted control of their townhouse and all of Michael's assets, including his bank account. She wanted him completely out of the way, that way her and her ex could get back together. But what she didn't plan was that her ex, I guess, had a moral compass and contacted police when things got really bad. The defense, though, claimed that Dalia actually never wanted Michael dead. She claimed that she knew she had been being recorded by police. She claimed that she knew the hitman was fake and that her ex was only acting. And she claimed that this was all for her and Mike to get fame on a reality show because Cops was filming that week. She actually didn't have anything on her criminal record prior to this, but that did not help her. She was found guilty. The judge on the first trial claimed that she was pure evil. In 2014, though, the appeals court ruled that she had a jury that was improperly selected. So they did toss out her conviction for the first trial. While waiting the second trial, Dalia ended up doing house arrest at her mother's house. And during this, she ended up getting pregnant with her son because this is a perfect time to have a baby. So the second trial was in 2016. And interesting enough, the defense actually threw out the whole reality show story and actually blamed the police department. They claimed that they staged all of this for the show Cops and that she was completely innocent. They claimed that they made a bigger deal out of this whole situation than they needed to, and it was all for the purpose of television. But the police claim they did nothing wrong and were doing nothing but gathering evidence for their case, and Cops was just a resource they decided to use. Of course, it ended in a hung jury. So the third, yeah, you heard me, the third trial date was set. So in 2017, the third trial began, and she ended up changing her story again and claimed that she did this because she was suffering so much abuse from Mike. But the jury returned with a verdict in 90 minutes. She was convicted of solicitation of first-degree murder and was sentenced 16 years to prison. And she will remain behind bars until August 2032. And she tried to fight this, but in September 2019, Florida Supreme Court rejected to even review her case. So let me touch back on this whole baby thing. She did claim she just had this baby because she simply wanted to be a mom. She wanted to have kids at some point. But others argued that it was to manipulate the judge into giving her a lighter sentence, which did not work. But while serving her sentence, Dalia leads a Bible study group. She still gets to see her son, who lives with her mom right now. And she really does seem that she's doing the most she can to turn her life around and to get out of the mindset she was in when she did plan Mike's murder. And Michael, from what I could find, is now in a relationship that seems to be going really great, and he's just trying to move past all this. But I'll be honest, I cannot imagine the trust issues that comes with the fact that your wife tried to kill you. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that it was over exaggerated for Cops? Mike claims this was not the case. He knew nothing about it, and that if Dalia and him were trying to get famous from a reality show, it wouldn't have been Cops, first of all. And second of all, he would have known about it. So do you believe him that he didn't know? Or do you really believe all the things that the news is saying about her? Do you think she's a monster? Do you think that she's evil? Personally, that's my opinion. Do you think that she really wanted to kill Michael? Honestly, we'll never know what went on in that relationship. The only two people that will know is Dalia and Mike. And a lot of things happen behind closed doors. So honestly, it could be that she was being abused. But yeah, leave your thoughts below on this case. Thank you so much for watching another video. Crimetober is a lot of fun. I like Crimetober. well, this is gonna have to be a trend every October. I'm really proud for Mike to turn his life around even before all this. But you know what? I am proud of Dalia for working to better herself in prison, because once she gets out, she's going to be a mom. So, I mean, she is a mom, but she's going to be able to actively be a mom to her son. And I'm glad that it's going to be with a great role model who's truly working on herself. Please like and subscribe for me, and hit that notification button. That way you're notified the next time I upload. Crimetober is every Sunday for the whole month of October, so don't forget. And also go back and rewatch my Unsolved in West Virginia series. I worked really hard on it, and I just want it to have some love. All right, well, I'll see you next time. Bye.